high-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hello traders, welcome to our live trading workshop webinar today. Let's go straight dive in. I've just got some live trades that are happening. The signals for the trades are in the Telegram channel, so you will get the link. The team will be sending you that through on the YouTube chat. For those of you who want to join in, and I think you still got some time to get into this if you do understand it. So basically, we got two positions on cable. One is for a shorter target, and one is for a much larger target. Okay, so we're going to be explaining all of that. And also today, we do on the webinars on Thursdays with Trade Guider. So we look at price and volume. In fact, every time we trade, we look at both of these combinations, and they are so powerful. So we got a lot in store for you. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Tunapan, founder of Master Markets Illustrates Conference and the Traders Open Day, and I'm joined in by my good friend and CEO of Trade Guider, Gavin Holmes. Hi, Gavin.
Terry, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. And the sun is shining nice and bright over here in London, so can't complain.
Well, looking forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully the weather will be as clement as it is here. I'm in Sandbanks down in Dorset, on the coast, the Jurassic Park, and I'm sitting right out in my garden here, broadcasting in my little tent that I've put up, and the temperature at the moment it's registering at 27 degrees. Now that's unheard of. It's the most wonderful moment. You go, I tell you what, I'm looking at charts. I've been up most of the evening looking at the 6A, which we can look at.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to be joined shortly. By the way, Charles needs a link from you to get in. He said he can't get in. So maybe Kyron can send him a direct Zoom link. For some reason, he can't get in. But he's actually in the trade with me. And if you look, I think all of you will have seen the YouTube stuff that we've been doing. And you look at the 6B, the British pound. I've been trading the 6A, which is the Aussie dollar. And what we're going to do today is show you the combination of SMI and VSA. And we're doing this on YouTube, so it's being broadcast right now. And what we'll do is show you where the market is starting to head. And I think, with all this, I spoke to Tiru briefly earlier, and we were talking about all the things that Donald Trump is saying about everything. And there's a big story at the moment. I think it's going to come out on the New York Times or one of the big, it could be the UK Times, the newspaper saying, oh, it's market manipulation. They're just saying things to put the prices up and down. And my biggest leads that I'm getting this week, which has been going on all week, is from marketmanipulation.org. Now, Tira, if you can quickly, your screen's up. Could you just put that website up, because it's quite interesting. It's marketmanipulation.org, O-R-G. And
let me do that. Market
manipulation. So www.marketmanipulation.org.
Let me see.
And
does
this
that come
is
up?
quite interesting.
Or not? It isn't.
Your connection is not private. I don't know what that means, but have you got Bitdefender on there?
No, let's just do this, marketmanipulation.org.
Yeah.
Let's see what it comes up. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still says that. Go to
Um,
advanced, proceed.
that's good. That's interesting. Okay, well, it depends.
Yeah, that's the one he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's come up with that because I know someone's trying to block it, but then basically you've got the stories here of what's going on. You've got there. I will have to go and have a look at why someone's blocking it, which is really interesting because that's exactly what's going on. And several customers have come back to me and said, well, people are trying to block the site. And I used to own the .com version of this, but I let it go because it was like £20,000. But it's still very interesting. You talk about FX, you talk about gold, which we'll look at today, and all of these things. We've got why these things happen. But the one thing that Tiru and Master of the Markets do very well is they say we're going to tell you the truth about trading, the truth, and that's exactly what we'll talk about today. What's going on right now, and when we get to the charts. I'll show you some stuff with our CTO, who's Charles Atmore out in Cincinnati, and we'll show you some stuff. And with Tiru, we'll combine it all, and we'll prove to you that not only are markets manipulated, which they always have been, but if we start to look at gold, we look at crude oil, we look at the Nasdaq, we can start to see a pattern. And you'll see that today. Back over to you, Tira.
Right, traders. So let's see the thinking process behind the trades on what Gavin was saying based on price and volume. We do this every week. Those of you who have been quite regular as well, been following us, do understand the strategies over here that we are doing. So let's take a look on what these two positions are. Yesterday, those of you who joined us, you would have seen we took a Brent oil trade yesterday during the show, and it was on the futures and it was sent on the Telegram channel. First trade was a loss, second trade was a win. Then we took a euro dollar trade as well, which was a really good win, and it overrode all the previous losses. Okay, that was all in the email. You can check it on our youtube.com/master of the markets channel under live section here. That's where we were talking about all of that. Okay, how to get 89.9% probability target. Now this one here is being ad live on Trade Guider channel, youtube.com/Trade Guider. You can see it under the live section over here as well. You can revisit the content later on too. Now let's revisit this thing over here on the GBP USD. What's going on in here? Now over here, what we usually do, traders, we populate these trend alignment tables, as we call it. They're very important. And before you can do that, as I always explain, you need a systematic framework, okay, which is sustainable, scalable, and reproducible. So what we do over here is that, so we will take a look at all the different time frames, right? So we go on to the GBP USD on the daily time frame. And now anything that we teach you here, you can put that across any instrument, NASDAQ, S&P. As you have seen through our live trading webinars, me and Gavin, we take a look at any instrument because these principles are always recurring in the market. So coming back here, so this is an uptrend phase 1 at the moment. Phase 1 means it's in alignment with the trend, okay? Bottom to top, up as with the uptrend that we have coded in over here. And you can see that that's on the daily time frame. So that's what I've put over here. On the 4-hour, let's take a look over here. On the 4-hour, that's an uptrend phase 2 at the moment, right? Because this top has been confirmed here. So that's a phase 2 going against the trend. Okay, so that's what I am doing over here. Uptrend phase 2. 1-hour time frame. Let's take a look. On the 1-hour time frame here, what is it doing at the moment? So it is downtrend phase 2. Okay, so that's what I've put over here. Downtrend phase 2. And then finally on the 15-minute time frame, what do we have? On the 15-minute time frame, we have actually a downtrend phase 1 as of now. Before I got into the webinar, it was a downtrend. It was an uptrend phase 2, but now it's a downtrend phase 1 because it took out this low over here. Okay, now if you go back to here, so that's a downtrend phase one. The stretch level is taken out both, as you can see over here. It's taken out both, and the latest one being the upside, isn't it? So let me just put that. That's a little bit of a concern. So let's see, up being latest. Okay, right. So that one I'll put over here. And then over here, the 50% OE, usually we take a 1 ATR level. Now this one, the range, I'm just going to take a look at over here. Now over here, let me see, we might need to trail this one because this is an outsider bar. Just give me a moment on that one. But before I do that, so if you see on the 1 ATR range here, on the daily time frame, if you take a look over here, this one here, right? So I take the ATR, average true range, right? Average true range basically means the high and the low of each bar. So here, average true range, I can read out from here, from the data window here. And over here, I can see that that is about 95 pips. So 0.8 times 95, that's about 76. I did that before coming here. So if I go to history here, it will tell you 0.8 times 95, 76, right? So today's bar, I am taking a look at a range of 76 pips is what we are taking a look at. But here, if you see, the bar range has only made 71, okay? So that's the whole premise of this. Now, when we take the trade over here, even though it's taken out the upper stretch, what I saw was a rejection of that, okay? And the current thing at the moment on the daily time frame, the BRO, the bigger range, is being formed to the downside. So that was the whole premise for this trade. So let's put it all together. So the range hasn't been formed yet. And the entry bias, if you take a look, so there's two things we look at, okay? One is trend alignment. The other thing is direction alignment. Now, one thing I want you all to also observe here is on the daily time frame, yeah? So let's go back to the daily time frame here. Very simple concepts you will see. On the daily time frame, right? Look at from a swing perspective. So this is this swing here, right? The confirmation came about here. Let's just put it just on a rough basis. And look where we are today. So it's quite far off from this bottom, isn't it? So now you can start to see that there is highly probably, there's a high chance this will turn around to confirm a top because nothing can go in a straight line forever, right? That's what me and Gavin have always said. So they will make a zigzag or move like snakes or move in cycles is what we call it. So that's what we are looking at. So what we say is once a swing distance has gone off so far from the bottom, then we would say there is very low open equity, all based on probabilities. Of course, anything can happen. Of course, if you've seen some commodities on the gold, it just keeps going on and on and on forward, but that's on the phase one moves. So this one, what we will do is on an intraday perspective, understanding our objectives, we will just make a note over here on this table here that yes, it's an uptrend phase one, but it's a low open equity, okay? Low open equity because it's moved a lot from its distance, okay? That's the whole premise and idea for this, okay? Now on the 4 hour, then you can start to see that because the low open equity is already started to form a top already, okay? So if I were to draw it diagrammatically, so on the daily, it's looking like that. On the 4 hour, it's looking like this, right? Okay. And then on the 1 hour, so let me just write that there. On the 1 hour, and then we'll put the volume on top, and that's when it becomes very powerful. So on the 1 hour, it looks like this, which is that 4 hour phase two is looking like a downtrend, right? Phase two here, okay? And then finally on the 15-minute, it's looking like this, okay? So this phase two has already started to turn on the 15-minute. Now, let's put this all together. So there are two things you need to look at. One is trend alignment, right? Across the trend alignments, we can see that two time frames are towards the uptrend, and then the other two time frames are towards the downtrend, okay? So that's what we're seeing over here. Now, On the other hand, what we also do, then we also take a look at direction alignment. Now, in terms of direction alignment, you can see uptrend phase 2 is towards the downside, right? Because it's in the phase 2. Downtrend phase 2 is going towards the up, but then downtrend, of course, there's a higher chance that it can come up, but doesn't matter. We just put that, and then we got this, an uptrend phase 1, but if a low open equity. When we correlate all of this together, there's a higher chance that this is going towards the short side, okay? And even though it's taken out the last higher stretch, but then we can see a true rejection over here of the upper stretch, and then it turning around, okay? So that's what we have seen over here, and that is the premise of that particular trade over here is what we are seeing, okay? That's how we took the short bias over here on GBP USD. Most of the time, even when it's both the stretch being taken out, even though up being the latest, we usually won't take it. But in this case, we've taken it because there was an immediate rejection, as we can see, and then all the other time frames started to turn. Now, on top of this, right, before I come to the targets, on top of this, if you take and if you put the volume on top as well, then it becomes crystal clear. Look at this, right? This is amazing. And this is why Master of the Markets and Trade Guide are paired up together, because price and volume work so beautifully. Because if you take a look over here, on the 15-minute, right, you had this big upthrust bar, right? And then look at the volume spike, right? And then the clue comes in the next bar. It closes lower as well. And then with all the time frame, now look at the beauty of this, right? Now, the beauty of this is you got trend alignment, direction alignment, which we have all collated and understood and everything. We put the stretch principle on top as well, put the bar range on top as well. It hasn't formed this range. Plus, we put the volume analysis on it. And that's when this thing becomes so powerful. And that's how we've been taking these trades and giving you the trade signals. Now, in terms of target, because even when you put all of this together, people always say, okay, Thiru and Gavin, where do we get out? Okay, there are a couple of things you can do. You can either put target, right, small targets. You can put another target for a bigger target, or like what Gavin usually does, he doesn't put any target at all, and you can trail the stop loss. That's totally fine. Create 3 strategies and do it across all these different target points, or start off with one, whichever you feel comfortable. Now, how do we get this target points over here? Over here, accordingly, what have we done over here? So over here, we have said that in terms of the stop loss going around here, and the close, we have said that on the close price, let me just move that a little bit. On the close price here, from this close price here, I've taken a 1 ATR for my first target. So that's how I got this first target, which is over here, right? 32.69. Okay, 32.69 is what I've got. So if I put it over here, so that you can see it diagrammatically, so we can put this green one here, 32.69. Okay, 32.69. Oops, let me just see. Maybe I did that a bit on the flip side. Let me see if I got that right. Let me see. Okay, good. So, 32, no, that's the bigger target. This one is 3309. Okay, sorry, that's my mistake there. 3309 is what we are looking at. And then we got the other one at the bottom there. So 3309 is my first target. And how am I getting this target from? So it's a small target. And then I've got another bigger target, which is all the way here on this green line. So let me just see if I can just hide the this one here. There we go. That's a bit more clearer here, the trigger line. Now you see, so I've got T1 here. You can see it diagrammatically now, and T2. Now, what is the reasoning behind this? And I'll pass it on over to Gavin after that, and we'll observe and monitor this. The target one is based on our open equity data. Okay, so you saw how we got the entry. Now in terms of target, so over here, I can do this, right, OE. And the good thing is in our latest upgrade, you can do now the phase 1 data as well. This is really brilliant. Our clients designed this, who came on just like you guys, really loved it, went all the way up. to learn this. And now he's coded it all onto here on TradingView. And we're going to do more further upgrades as well with our clients. This is how the community itself uplifts the community. And we and Gavin have done an amazing job in terms of that. And you can see that over here on the 180R level here. So let's just wait for this to populate. There we go. Now, in terms of 180R, so it's telling you over here is that there's a very, very high chance here on the phase ones over here of it, 95% chance of it getting down. Okay. Now, let me just do this very quickly. Good. So this one, P1, this one is, sorry, ATR is what I need. Good. So that's why I was a bit thinking about how can that be that high. So that was on pips. Let me just, it's turning it into ATR now. There you go. So one ATR is about 70% chance of getting there. So that's how we are analyzing this particular target. But of course, this will increase even more your probability because I have put trend alignment and direction alignment. The second target, what I've placed, is based on the larger target, is based on it looking to form its range towards the downside. So if you take a look over here on the daily here, I am waiting for this bar to form its range to the downside, okay? That's what I am looking at. And therefore, the 80% ATR range is about 76, isn't it, traders? It's only from 71. So I am expecting this to come back down all the way, right? Come back down all the way, come back to this target point and form its 76 range. So this is what we are looking at. That's how the basis for the two targets are, okay? We've done a lot of material on this. You can also take a look at our, those of you joining in for the first time, is a bit over your head. What you can do is you can take a look at 7steps to CTP.com so the team can put it on the YouTube channel, 7stepsctp.com. Once you put your name, email, and number optional for live trading, and then click on I'm Not a Robot, click on the green button, and then you get these 7 videos being sent to your inbox. Okay, so that's what you will get. You can watch it in your own free time. And these principles you can apply to any strategy that you're doing. And it doesn't matter, it's not rigid. It's a framework. It's a solid framework that you can use on any kind of strategy that you're trading on. Then the other thing also I will guide you all also, we also talk about over there in 7 steps to CTP on price and volume as well. And also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/master the markets. So that's youtube.com. Let me just show that to you so that you get that. youtube.com/master the markets. You also highly recommend you guys to take a look at this one here under the home page, stretch principle. These 2 videos will really highly help you guys a lot in understanding the methodology, how we are capturing these trades and trading with conviction. It doesn't matter whether it loses or wins. The point is we understand what we are doing and running the numbers because of the edge of the strategy. youtube.com/trade guider as well. Then you can watch all of the videos that me and Gavin have done together, what we have shown these concepts in real time and how they prove themselves to be true. The final thing I would say is all this framework that we are seeing over here, we've got only conviction is because the first step is we have quantified what a bottom and a top is, okay? As you can see, that's the first step, and that's how then we get all the stats, and all that is explained on the 7 steps to CTP.com. But the first step is always to quantify what your bottom and top is. Over here we got the blue dot and the blue arrow confirming the bottom, and the orange arrow and the orange dot confirming the top. Okay, so that's the whole premise for this. Okay, and it's very makes sense, very logical as well. Gavin, I think I've done enough on that one there. So this was one of the things I was flagging up. So I'll pass it over to you now if you're looking at other instruments as well.
Yeah, Terry, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've got Charles. Charles, I believe, is in the room with us as well, and I'll introduce Charles to you all shortly. Yeah, I've been trading overnight. I've been looking closely at the Aussie dollar, the 6A, and Tiru picked out a great trade on the 6B a few days ago. You know, pretty much nailed it. Now, you know, this is something close to my heart. Is we can look at all the statistics, but Turu did mention that I don't use a price target, and I don't say, well, when it hits there, I'm going to close the trade. And there's a logical reason for that, and it's the reason that I let trades run. But there's something else that I haven't mentioned before, which is when I get into a situation where I'm losing money, I do immediately cut the trade real quick when it goes to, say, 2%, maybe less of the capital, because I just say, I just got that wrong. Now, I'm sure Tiru would agree with this. You're never going to be 100% right in trading.
Of course not. Yeah.
I'd love to say that, oh, well, if you follow Tiru and Charles, who's in the room with us, who's our CTO, and me, we give you the advice, we show you stuff, every trade is going to be a winner. It's definitely not. That would be a lie. It's not going to happen. However, this is Tom Williams's words, and I've got them on. I'm gonna produce an audio book for my third book with Tom Williams talking to me about the markets, and I'm in the process of doing it. And some of the things he said are quite prophetic, meaning he's not a prophet, but what he was a visionary. And he said the markets, and I'll use Tiru's words here. The markets are like a dance. When you look at a price chart, it goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. It's a dance. And I know Tiru spent a lot of time working with some very serious people and who taught him. And I've obviously spent a lot of time with Tom and with Professor Hank Pruden and several other very great Wyckofians. And it was interesting last night. I mean, I didn't get much sleep, but that's because I was looking at what's going on in the world. And what I've come up with is there is no solution. And you want to come up with a solution. You say, well, Mr. Zelensky will meet Mr. Putin and they'll just shake hands and it'll all be sorted out. It's not going to happen. But the financial markets respond to geopolitical circumstance, which I know. And I'm 58 and I watch geopolitical stuff. Now, can I do anything about it? Until I'm taking over from Donald Trump, which it could happen, it's possible, Terry's laughing. Listen, when I'm in the White House, mate, you can come for a cup of tea.
Nice, that'd be good.
And not going to happen. But it doesn't matter. You can't change certain circumstance. But what you can change is the way you see things. And Charles Atmore, who's in the room with us, is our CTO. And he's in Cincinnati. And we've had long conversations. And, at the end of the day, when I wrote Think, Link, Create, the third book, and I'm getting loads of inquiries from that book. I mean, the publisher's like, well, we're going to put it on there. We're going to do it on that. I'm like, oh, please stop. Because it is overwhelming, but it's a wonderful moment. Now, we're talking charting, aren't we? We're not talking about the law of attraction and the law of supply and demand and the law of cause and effect and the law of effort versus result. Because if you're here, you probably already know it. So what I'd like to do, Tira, if you can, I'm going to bring in Charles.
Yeah, let's stop the share.
Yeah, we'll introduce. Yeah, so Charles, if you want to come and say hello, but you switch your mic on, and then if you can put your screen on, that'd be great.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
loud and clear.
Yeah. Tiru's here and Kyron's here out in India, so we've got a truly international audience here. We got loads of people. And let me just start off by saying how this has happened, and it's going to get bigger, I can tell you. Absolutely. So, first of all, Tura and I met at an exhibition at the London Connaught Rooms. And he had a big stand and it said Master the Markets. And I went, that's the book. And Terry will confirm this, right? And it was like, oh, Master of the Markets. I said, he's copied us. Correct, Terry? so I went over to the stand.
Yeah, remember this? Yeah, many years ago.
I went over and I said to the lovely lady there, I said, who's the boss here? I mean, this is that. It's Tom Williams's book. Has he copied it? And this happened. And then Tiru came over to my booth. We had a stand there, and he came over. He said, "Oh, are you Gavin?" I said, "Yeah." And shook hands a few years ago now, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, "No," he said, "I've not copied. I don't even know what VSA is." And I went, "Oh, okay. So you haven't copied us?" And he's like, "No." So I said, "Well, show me what you got. I want to see it." And that's the start. And then he said, "You show me what have you got?" And I said, "Well, we've got volume spread analysis, and we've got this and this, and we've got smart money indicator, which is not your smart money indicator; it's ours. We call it trade. Well, at the time, it was not Trade to Win Pro, but it was in Ninja Trader, and it was called. Well, some of you are emailing me right now. Yeah, it's Smart Center Pro, and that's what it was. And then Tura and I sat down and we had a cup of coffee. And he said, "Do you know something? I really like the VSA methodology because of the volume." He said, "And the smart money indicator, the SMI, sits perfectly with it." And several things have happened since that time. And I do believe if you're going to read my third book, please do go and read it. Because I do believe in fate. I believe that we meet people for reasons. Things happen for reasons. We don't understand it, but they do. So then I met a guy called Charles Atmore, who I did a mentorship course with. And Charles is in this room. He's going to talk to you. And he's in Cincinnati, where I have been. There are many places I haven't been, but I have definitely been to Cincinnati. And I'll definitely be going back. And Tiru knows Charles. I know Charles. And what I realised, and we've got a guy called Paul from Australia who's flying in to meet with me next week. Is things happen for reasons, but you just don't know. And Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, perfectly put it in words. And he called it connecting the dots. That's what he said. Now you might say it's got nothing to do with trading or anything, but it absolutely has. I'll prove it. And when we bring Charles in, you'll understand. The connecting the dots is exactly what happened when he got fired from Apple and he started Pixar. Now the reason I'm saying this on this webinar and explaining it to you is there's a lot of negativity at the moment. There's a lot of negative energy and it's flowing all around the world. And very few people would argue with that, including my kids, because they're at boarding school. They said, "Dad, it's terrible. Look at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and this." And I said, "Well, look, go back in history. When Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, he didn't give up. He connected the dots. And he went on to create Pixar and then became the next CEO of Apple." And when you think about this stuff, and we're going to look at charts in a minute, but you've got to think about yourself. And in Think, Link, Create, I've discussed this because it's so important. A great trader like Tiru, and I'm absolutely certain Charles and Paul and the other people we're bringing in, they will have gone through experiences in different places. You know, you can't, everyone has a different experience in their life. But the one thing that we've got as a company, as a business, as we're about to show you when Charles puts the screen up, is development, and it's called Think, Link, Create. Now, what is a creation? What does that mean? It's an idea. It's someone saying, I'll tell you what, Gavin, I mean, Charles is a great example of this, and Tiru's the same, you know, with his with Kyron out in India and Glenn, right? They're creative individuals. They don't want to just sit back and go, oh, well, what we'll do is just throw this out there and see what we get. No, no. You've got a great group of individuals here. Now, I'm very privileged to have started Trade Guider and with Tom Williams and met Charles, Paul, several other people that I'll introduce you to in the next week or two. But the one thing I do know is, and let's just take Tiru as an example. If you look at what Tiru is trying to do, and he's not trying, he's doing it. He says, trading the truth. Now let's have a look at this chart on the screen, which is gold, which is about to collapse because I've got it on my other screen. It's about to completely tank. Now we've got the areas that Tiru has actually highlighted at the bottom is exactly where it's going to go. How can I possibly know that? It's impossible, right? You go, well, no, if you know that, then you know where the market's going. You watch. Now, what we want to see, and I'll certainly bring Charles in on this, is a no demand bar. Now, what does that mean? Okay, I've got your email, John. I'll answer it. What is effort versus result? What a great question that is. And before we go back to Tiru and Charles, which we will, I want you to look at this chart that we've got. Now, you've got at the bottom of the chart an area where support has been found. But right now, yeah, you've got that. That's it. You've got a 2-bar reversal, 2 of them, but you've also got an opposite of a spring. So if you to point at the last bar, which closed on the low, which is in effect an upthrust, it's called a hidden upthrust right there. Yep, that's it. Okay, this is Tiru's chart. This is not mine. I'm not broadcasting. It's Tiru's chart. Now, what will happen, and this is what you've got to look for in order to be a successful trader. You want to see the market react negatively to that bar, which it's doing right
on
now.
Charles' chart, Gavin. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, is that Charles?
Is that Charles's chart? Sorry.
Yeah,
that's mine.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Charles. I didn't realise that was your chart, but it's going to go down, right? Definitely. So I'll bring Charles in a minute and we can discuss this. So what you've got here is 2 reversals, which I'm sure Charles will explain to you. And we could see a reversal there, and the market went down, went back up, and it reversed again. Now, if it breaks the low of that blue bar, okay, yeah, you've got it. I'll let Charles explain this, by the way. Sorry, I thought I was looking at Tiru's chart, but it doesn't make any difference. A chart is a chart is a chart. As Tom always said, watch what's about to happen. It's about to break it. And the reason I know this is because I'm looking at my other screen. Okay, and it's about to take out that low really quickly, and the volume will increase. And when Charles explains, well, there it is. It's gone. It's gone. When Charles explains the logic behind the bottom of the chart, where it's saying the trend is clearly trying to push down.
Gavin, if you've got any levels, just shout it out. Then we can put it through the signals as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I can give you some levels. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, Yeah, if you want to, yeah, it's up to you. But anyway,
Well,
carry on.
no, I can actually I can. I mean, I don't. You know, I don't use levels, right? You know, I don't.
Oh,
Okay,
just your
but
entry and your stop loss, not the target. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I can tell you where exactly it's going, in my opinion. Okay, and Charles, you can probably highlight it. You see the bottom of the PB bar where the line is, and you'll because it's your chart. So
Yep,
there, that's it.
32.14.
That's it. That's where it's going to go. It'll hit that within the next hour. With that being said, I've said enough. Charles, welcome to the webinar. Let me just explain very briefly to all of you. Charles Atmore is our CTO. We're working closely with Master the Markets and Trade to Win, producing stuff like this. Ultimately, everything is about patience. We do this live. We're not doing PowerPoints. We're not going, oh, that looked really good. It's live. Tiru is exactly the same as me. We trade live. So does Charles. And Charles has produced a lot of things that are in the new TradingView platform that works for Trade to Win, which is our company. And we're gonna really push forward with that. And we're going to work closely with Master the Markets on that. So, Charles, I'm going to hand over to you. Maybe you can just explain a little bit about what you're seeing here and what is the software telling us. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. So it's kind of interesting. This can get confusing depending on the time frame you're looking at. You know, the lower the time frame. So I'm right now on a 5-minute chart. The lower the time frame, the more noise, the less dependable the signals. Potentially the earlier entry you can get if you happen to get everything right, but it can be a challenge. So one of the things that I worked on to help understand what's going on in the market is a multi-time frame trend indicator, which is what you're seeing at the bottom. And what that's showing is it's showing the time frames for a 5-minute, a 15, a 30-minute, and a 1 hour. And that's what you're seeing each of these little squares. We happen to be looking at a 5-minute chart. So each one of these little squares is a 5-minute bar. Okay, so that's propagating down across the bottom. And it's using the same trend indicator as the short-term trend indicator in Trade to Win. And you can see these little red circles, and then it'll flatten out and it'll go back down. So the same indication of trend, but it's doing it across multiple time frames. So we've got the shortest time frame, 3 time frames up, another double up from there, and again another double up from there. So it'll kind of give you a longer term picture. So for instance, you know, right now on a 15-minute time frame, you can kind of think of this bar as being kind of right in this area. You see how this trend goes gray? It's flat, meaning that there's not really a trend going on. The direction of that indicator, that trend indicator, is kind of flat, and the close is either slightly above it or slightly below it, and it's flat, and that gives you an indication of what's going on. So when you think about this and you look at it, you can say, okay, well, the 15-minute chart, we're kind of teeter-tottering right back and forth on top of this short-term trend indicator. The 30-minute is above. The hour, you can see, has been above for a long time, which basically means that if you were to look at and we'll look at a couple of different ones, a 15 or a 30-minute or an hour, you'd see they all be negative. The 15 is just right on the verge of switching, you know, so you can see that it switched up or neutral and then it went back down. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I've created a few different variations of this. And I'm going to go to let's say we go to a 15, 30, 60, and 240 looking view right here, right? And that'll line up largely with what we've got down at the bottom. And you'll see what this trend looks like is on a 15-minute chart. You can see how it's gray, right? So we're not really in a trend, but you can see that it's been in a trend and it's right on the verge. So it's flipping back and forth between a close above that and not, and that trend indicator is flattened right out, right? So this is how you can understand the context of the time frame you're in relation to higher time frame trends. All of these are configurable, and the thing we're trying to do here is give you decision making tools. So depending on the time frame you're looking at in the context of your trading, if you're trading on a 15-minute chart, you may or may not care about a daily time frame. You probably won't. That's a long stretch from a day if you're doing a 15-minute swing trade. You might use it as a reference, you might not. It's up to you. We've given you options to pick different time frames, and these are all the time frames you've got configured in TradingView. You just simply select them, and then we've also given you the option to create alerts on the time frames as well. One of the things that I just added literally this week was the ability to alert, but then also say, hey, you know what? How many of these time frames has to align before I get the alert? You can say they all have to align. In other words, they all have to be red or all have to be green, and then send me an alert. And that would be a multi-time frame complete alignment. You can say have one neutral time frame. So in this case, the neutral, think of it as the gray. That's where we're not quite sure what the trend is. We do require that the trend on the time frame, the lowest time frame you have in there, is in the direction of the trend. So for instance, you can see right now on the 15-minute chart, and I'm on a 15-minute chart, the 15-minute time frame is flat right now. If that were to turn red, I would get an alert that immediately says, hey, all of the time frames are aligned, and you've got 15, 30, 1 hour, and 4 hour completely aligned. You'd get an alert in an email and also a pop-up on your screen saying you've got, the trend is going back down. It's in the direction of the higher time frames. Okay. Also have an option in here to say, you know what, we can have up to one trend that's neutral or opposite. And what that's saying is, if one of the time frames, I don't care which one, but it can only be one, is neutral or flat, then that's still okay. So for instance, we're going along here, you can see that I don't have all the time frames aligned. Here I've got all of them, but 2 are neutral. Here I've got 3 of them that are all down and 1 neutral. So right here you'd get an alert that says you've got 3 out of 4 time frames aligned, 1's neutral. And if you were to look at this and you say, well, okay, that's great. This move's kind of started pretty far. Well, where could you put a trade? You might put one right after it breaks through this consolidation as an example. So these are decision-making tools or decision support tools. You don't just go and you get a trend alignment and throw a trade in. You do still have to look at what else is going on in the chart. What's the context of the chart? And that's where some of the other tools come into play. The volume, the VSA indicators. If you have SMI, you may use the SMI and the trend direction for the SMI as well. So you pull multiple confluences together to increase your probability and your conviction in the trade. And that's what this bottom indicator is about. It's giving you broader view without having to take too many screens. Otherwise, you'd have to have a 15-minute screen, a 30-minute screen, an hour, and a 4 hour. And you can have 4 screens open. I know in my trading, simple is better. And that's one of the reasons why I built this. Plus, I want to have some type of alerts. I don't sit in front of my screen all day long. I've got grass to cut, and I'd love to say I have chickens to feed and goats, but I don't have any of that stuff. But I do have plenty of property to take care of, and I'm semi-retired. So, I've got other things to do, and I don't want to sit in front of a screen all day. So I tend to trade more of a swing basis, so a higher time frame, like a 30-minute time frame and up, and get alerts when certain conditions come into play. So in Trade to Win Pro and Trade to Win Elite, so the Trade to Win Elite includes this bottom indicator. That's the main difference right now. We are working on some other developments. They're not released. They'll be added to the Trade to Win Elite, but currently Trade to Win Pro does not include this bottom indicator. There's another trend indicator that you probably saw on Tira's screen across the top right, which shows some short-term trending as well and some momentum. So there are a number of things going on here, and we're continuing to work on those developments to bring you some more decision support tools. In Trade to Win Elite, these tools are going to be more advanced. So they're going to look at a lot of different things, like maybe volume profiles over a period of time to understand the broader market context, rather than just looking at what I would call rather short-term trend indicators and short-term indicators for what's going on with regards to price action and VSA methodology. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new developments coming, testing a lot of things, and also trying to, I'll say, optimize a couple of the indicators to take advantage of new developments in TradingView. So I called Gavin yesterday. I probably sounded like a giddy little high school person that said, "Hey, have you seen that new new scanner inside of TradingView?" And he said, "I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't, I'm busy. Leave me alone." He didn't say that, but it's probably what he was thinking, and I get it. TradingView just came out with, when I say just, it's in beta, just came out with a brand new product. So I'm going to go to products and I'm going to go to screeners. And there's one here called Pine Beta. And Tiro, you might want to also let your people know about this as well. This is really, really interesting. This screener allows you to take a watch list and screen your own indicator across the watch list to understand what's going on as it relates to that particular indicator. Now, it doesn't work for multi-time frame indicators. So like, for instance, that indicator I'm showing you down below that's got a 5 and a 15 and a 30, it won't work for that. But you can have variations of an indicator. And I've got a couple of variations that I can use in lieu of that. And essentially what happens is with this particular detail, you can take your indicator and add it to the watch list. So I've got a watch list here. I can add an indicator, any indicator you have in TradingView that you have favorited. So you've said, "Hey, this is one of my favorites," and there's all kinds of them in here. And you can select it, and then you can perform a scan across the watch list. Okay, and there's a lot of details here. I'm not going to get any further than this because
Oh, sorry to disturb you, but yeah, those of you following the cable trade, yeah, it's going towards the target. Anyway, you carry on. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. So we'll come back to you with some examples and some more details here. But I'd say go look at some of the newer developments. If you go into YouTube and go to the TradingView subscription area, you'll see that there's a nice video telling you how to use this. And I'll tell you, this has got a lot of power, because can you imagine if you had a rather large watch list of all the stocks that you're following, and you want to know when let's say a couple of different moving averages all align to go in a direction, whether it be up or down, you can scan for that quite quickly here across 100, 200, 300 different instruments and get some very quick indication about market direction changes for an instrument that you may want to start a position trade or even a shorter term trade on.
Yeah. Some of the things you just said there about you going and cutting the grass, right? I was like, that's funny, because when you fly to England, which hopefully I'll meet you, I need you to look after the deer, the goats, and the donkeys that will definitely be here.
Nice.
Yeah, seriously. You think I'm joking, but when I was living in the New Forest, which I've now moved from, and we're going to look at the chart now. Okay, we're going to see what's about to happen, which I can see it. But
Gavin, just a quick one. Just those on the cable trays hit the target.
okay, yeah. Can you put the 6B up? Yeah, because that's Charles. Can you do that? The 6B. We got that one dead on.
Because on the Telegram channel, they would have got the signals that it hit the target. Yeah.
Yeah.
You may put it on
I got the message as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And can you put up a 3-minute chart on this? Because this is really good example.
On 6B?
Yeah. If you can. Yeah. And now we've gotten a very, yeah, so it's gone, it's obviously made a new low, and but it's not there yet. But what is very interesting right now is it's 3 minutes past 3 in the UK. Now, I'll just ask the audience, do you know what the London fix is? Do you understand it? I'll just ask the audience. Do you know? And Tiru definitely does. Charles, you know what the London fix is, right?
Mainly from you talking about it.
Yeah, I've talked about it a lot. So it's about it's an hour away. And this is okay. Just give me a second. Tiru, I'll hand back to you because I've got someone at the door, so just bear with me. But Tiru, go and have a look at the fix. Yeah.
Yeah, no problems. Charles, have you finished on your analysis?
I have. If you want to go ahead and take the screen back and continue, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no problems. So over here, I just want to share the screen out to the people. You can see traders over here. I think you can see it both on Trading View and on MT4. It really doesn't matter which chart you're using. Let's use Trading View because we can analyze a lot of it along with the price and volume as well. You can see this is the bar that happened on the 15-minute, just as it opened at 3 p.m. over here. The target was here. This was our target 1, wasn't it? At 3309. So it just went through that and hit our target. Signal came out. Now, some of you might be on some brokers where it's still not hit your target yet because of spreads. That's fine. You can just wait on it. But do refer to your rules back again, okay, on that. If it has come to your target, but just because of spread, it then bounced back up, then do have your rules to say if you're going to exit it live or not, okay? So those are the rules that you need to have on that, or you just wait on it and you just follow the plan. Now, the most important thing is whatever that you do, you have to follow it consistently. So this is the most important thing, okay? So that the law of numbers can then show the edge of the strategy, okay? That's the most important thing, the consistency. And believe in your numbers for your edge to be realized. So this is what's happening on cable. Now, the other thing is, if you take a look over here, on the second target over here, that is at 3272. That is still a bit of time to go, but we will manage that on the longer, higher time frame, okay, over here. So let's see if that potential top over here is going to confirm with an orange arrow and an orange dot, okay? So that's the whole premise for that one there. Now, in terms of, let's take a look on gold and what you can be looking at going forward using price and volume. Now, let's take a look at that now. Now, in terms of that, let me see. Now, we are shooting past time a little bit. We'll just take a little bit more time, and then we can wrap up for the day. So there we go. On gold over here, now let's do that thing again, that table again. So let's do it together very quickly. So over here, I can see that on the daily time frame here, right? So this is an uptrend phase of 1, okay, with a potential top being formed there, not being confirmed yet by our formulas. So uptrend phase 1 highly probably is a medium OE left or low OE left. I will do that over here, uptrend phase 1, low OE. And then going back to here on the gold chart again on the 4-hour, then if I take a look at that one there, that is on a downtrend phase 1 over here at the moment, okay? So I will do that over here as well. And then we will apply volume on top of this. So on the 1 hour, let's take a look at that as well. You know, most of the time on intraday charts, as long as you got 3 time frame alignment, you can start to take a trade on it. But remember, every strategy will differ based on its objectives, okay? So this is the main important thing. So over here, what you can see here is downtrend phase 1 again. Again, what we can quickly notice is that the OE is very low, isn't it? Look at that, right? Where it confirmed, right? Where it confirmed and where it is today, right? All the way at the bottom over here. So that's what we are seeing over here. So that one there. So OE is a bit low on that one also, but it's a downtrend phase 1. So let me do that. And then on the 15-minute here, so let's do the 15-minute finally. And then we will analyze everything along with the volume. And on the 15-minute here, let's just wait. So that's a downtrend phase 2 is what I am seeing at the moment, right? This potential top here, the potential top here hasn't confirmed yet according to our formulas, okay? But there's one interesting observation there. I don't know if you guys have caught it really quickly. 1 hour stretch. I will quickly take a look at that. Cable is coming back down again towards there. That's all good. Gold, yes, very clear, isn't it, traders? Yeah, you can see over here, lower stretch over here being taken out over here. So I'll put that over there. So lower stretch over here. If you want to take it on a 15-minute, 180 will be the target to go for. Has the range been formed? That's a good one. So let's take a look at that. Yesterday's one, $81, 0.8 times 80 was $64. Yes, it has formed. As you can see, the range of this, I can read it from the indicator on the right. You can see that that is about $83. Okay, this was again designed by one of our clients as well, Jens, a Vedanta Elite member as well. And then you can see that straight away that's done its range for the day. Okay, so that one, yes. So I will put it at yes, and then I'll put that as green. And then here, the bias is a bit obvious here, isn't it, traders, right? As you can see, downtrend phase 1 across everywhere, right? Downtrend, trend alignment here across 3 time frames at least is what we're looking for. Direction alignment, you can see also across at least 2 time frames. And with the trend alignment, there's a very strong bias for a short over here. Okay, that's what we are taking a look over here, traders. Okay, so that's what we got over there. Now we apply now the volume on top of that. I can immediately see, those of you would have seen, immediately see a volume spike over here on this. Next bar closing lower, but not very obviously lower. So we'll wait for a bit of confirmation on this, along with the other volume analysis as well, okay, to get a stronger trade. My only thing is for every strategy, if you think about it, on strategy number 1, if you want also the bar range not to have formed, I always have seen that for the day, the probabilities get more higher and it runs a bit more smoother. In strategy number 2, if you do not mind about that, if you just want to take a look at 3 time frame alignment, then you can take a look at all the different stats that we have designed. And all of that is all explained on the 7 steps to CTP.com, okay? There you can find out all about that once you put your details in, and then you can watch the videos at your own free time. Highly recommended, over 15 years of collated research and put together by institutional quant traders, all right? I guess that's pretty much what we got for today, traders. So we'll monitor this cable trade and see how it goes towards our second target. Those of you on the Telegram channel, you'll be able to see that. If we send you all the link, we'll send the link again on the YouTube chat as well as on the Zoom chat. And then join it, and then you can join us. We always go live on Wednesday and Thursdays. And those of you who understood the principles, you can always then do it yourself across any other instruments as well. And also, those of you who got any deeper questions, you can always email us at clientservice@masterthemarkets.net. Okay. One more thing you can take a look at also is our, if you want to book a one-to-one session as well, you can always book a one-to-one session over here. Do I have that here? Yep, I've got it over here. You can book that in as well. Okay, so it will look something like that. Choose your dates. Usually the dates goes off quite fast, but you can take a look at them at your own free time. So I'll keep an eye on GBP USD on how it performs towards the second target. Those of you on Telegram channel, you'll see it. I've put on the chat box the one-to-one session there as well. Okay, thanks to the boys. I think they've put it already. All right, traders, that's pretty much that from me. Gavin, are you still there? Any final things before we wrap up? Not sure if he's there or not, Charles. Is he? You think he's away?
Yeah, I don't know. He may have had, maybe he had a goat at the door or something.
Right, okay, no problems. I think he's busy going away. I think we've
No, no, I'm sorry, I'm here. Can you put
okay.
gold on a 1 minute chart up? Because I'm in this.
Yeah, you got the entry levels, you can put it on.
Yeah, can you put it up? Can you put gold up? I'll let you do your screenshot.
Yeah,
Okay. And so I've actually gone long. And if you can go back maybe 20 bars, I'll show you why.
20 bars. Around here?
Um, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So you've got a 2 bar reversal at the bottom, yeah. And then you've got
20.
your SMI indicators. Yep, there. Okay. So it's coming into the London fix. So we're 3:15. This is going to go straight up. Definite. Right. And if you look at it, it's quite logical. You've got a gotcha bar, which is the what your indicator is showing, which is correct. It's like, oh, it's a markdown. And then look at the spreads. As the volume starts to increase on the spreads, it actually narrows the price range and it starts to improve. And then you've got your second blue indicator, which confirms what I'm seeing. And it's going to take time. This is going to be a long-term thing. It's not going to happen immediately. But is the market moving? Yeah, it is. Definitely. And you've got absorption volume. Now, what is absorption? So, actually, Charles, you can probably do this. Can you go 3 bars back with the big green bar closing at the
Let me
top?
stop the share then. Let me stop the share.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Because it's on my screen, isn't it?
Um,
It should be fine. So you've got, you're showing the same indicator I'd be showing, Terry.
Okay, no problems. Yeah. So yeah, let me show that. Yes, yeah, Gavin.
okay. So you've got a widespread up bar through the, which is a P2 there, but it's basically a reversal and it's coming back down.
This
Now,
one, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's why it's falling, and it's what I said earlier. And this is quite obvious in gold that they do it all the time. Now, the reason it's happening is because of the time. Now, the time that I'm looking at this chart is 15:16, 3:15, and it has to fall. Has to fall. There's no doubt. Everything in VSA says this is going to collapse. And I was asked about where's it going to go. Well, you've got the levels. It's going there now. Watch. And I can see the orders on my level 1 screen. It's
I guess
going to
you've turned
collapse.
it around now, Gavin, right? You're shorting it now.
Oh yeah, everything's short
All
right
right,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Watch.
Because I think that's what people need to understand, because I think you were previously long, right? You're going,
Yep, yeah, there was definitely
and then
long.
you have turned it. I think this is what people need to understand. You know, it's not about sticking to the direction, but knowing when to turn it around, isn't it?
Right now, watch. Just watch. It's about to. It's this. Everything in my screens are telling me this is about to collapse. Now, you said tell the truth about trading. Well, watch. This is the truth. It's being highly manipulated. I know who's doing it, but it doesn't really particularly matter. It's going to go. And it'll go right down to your P1 level, but it'll go through it.
Let's just put a line on that one.
Yeah, I've got end of a rising market on a 1 minute chart. I've got up thrust on a 3 minute. Everything's there. Watch. This is the truth. You talk about, as we do, the truth. That's right in front of your eyes. This is not a PowerPoint, is it?
Yeah.
Watch what's about to happen. Okay, look at the volume. It's going to collapse. Now, how can I possibly know this? You can't, but you can if you're a good chart reader. Next bar needs to close lower than the close of that previous bar. If it does, which it will, then it's gone. And the most important part is if it doesn't matter. If you're short, you just bring your stop down. But it's going to go. Watch. And by the way, let me be very clear for those of you on YouTube, this is live, right? We're not doing this as a PowerPoint. You can go and check. Yeah, it's live.
Some people are asking, Gavin, where would you trail your stop loss at this point, or would you not trail it?
Oh no, I would definitely. Well, I'm not in this trade. Let me be clear. I'm not in this trade. So I'm just showing you what's about to happen, but I'm not in this trade. Let me be clear. But if I was, my stop loss would be, you see where the PS line is and that line that's, yeah. Now go down. It
This
says
one?
it's that would be it. Yep, 100%. But I am not, let me be very upfront. I'm not in this trade. Simply because I've got so much going on at the moment with traveling and stuff. I'm not focused on trading, but I'm doing the webinar, obviously, to support Tiru and Charles. I'm not in this trade, but I know where it's going and watch.
Yeah.
And then you might, again, I can imagine people saying, well, why aren't you in the trade? And the simple thing is, when I'm in a trade, I'm focused. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can push the button and go, yeah, you're going to see an upthrust any minute. Any minute. Could happen now. Could happen in the next 10 minutes.
Just a quick one for the traders who are still in the cable trade. There you go. It's
Yep.
coming back further on the downside as well. This was a full one with everything aligned, wasn't it, Gavin? With all price and volume and everything. That's why it's very important in this game to have just patience as well. Let me just bring up the gold chart again. Yeah.
Okay. So I can tell you where it's going to go. I'm not in this trade. Can I just be very clear on this? Because people say, oh, you in this? No, I'm definitely not. But I can analyze the market. And what am I looking at? What I'm looking at the moment is an attempt to support the price at a gotcha bar. Okay. Oh, I'm getting loads of incoming chats. Well, I can't deal with all of those, so that's fine. What we'll see is a potential markup of price, right? The market maker will try to support price. And that
Yes, people have to also understand that even though they've trailed it, even if it hits the stop, it doesn't matter because you're just following your plan, isn't it, Gavin?
correct. Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you understand volume spread analysis, what happens at these levels is quite important. The great thing about working with Tiru is that he's very sort of because he comes from a medical background. I'm a police officer, ex-police officer. I know this is going to reverse. And Tiru would look at it from a medical background and go, "Oh my goodness me, the patient's bleeding, so I've got to save the patient." Watch. That's what Tom told me. You watch. See if I'm wrong. And it doesn't matter. And I've said this to my wife. I said it to her many times. I said, I don't care if I'm wrong. I know when I'm right, and watch, and you'll see it.
Yeah, it's the
It's gonna go.
yeah, it's the conviction. People can see also in here that I think the stop loss where you would have put 32.22.
You know,
Yeah, but if you have put the spreads on it, I don't think you would have been stopped out on this one.
you would never have been stopped out on it, but nevertheless, watch what's about to happen to the price. It's going to go through that green line. And this is the wonderful thing about this is I was talking to Charles about this. It's live. You've either got it right or you've got it wrong. I don't really care. I told Laura this. I said, well, the end of the day, you've got all the evidence. You've got Tom Williams's work. Hank Pruden. Watch what's about to happen. And if you've got that knowledge, my goodness,
Gavin,
What? It's about to go. Has to. It's all over my screens.
that's the green line over there. I
Yeah,
think,
it's about to go. It's going to go right through it any minute.
yeah, just saw a comment coming. Yeah, really great trade, but they would prefer if we're given some entry and so it's okay. I think for the future we can do that. Where would we have entered? Where would you have entered on this one, Gavin?
See you see the 2 bar reversal at the top P1
This
right
one.
there. If you look at what Charles has done, that would be an entry because based on small time frames as well. But it's a great story in that you go, well, where would I have entered? I don't know what size is your account? What's your stop loss? Well, I really don't know. But this is about to go. They're trying to test this. Oh, there we go. Perfect. It's a test of the bottom right there. Okay, so if
Yes, we
you're
are
going to
waiting.
enter,
Yeah.
if you put up a smaller time frame, you've got, and I'm sure Charles would agree with this, you'd have got in earlier. But as I've been talking, the market has fallen here very clearly to that level, and there's no argument because it's live. It's like you can't argue with it
Also,
now.
Gavin, just to give them the update on the other trade here on
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, on cable, you can see now traders over here, there's only one position left, right? Remember we said in the beginning we got two targets. One target is here, very
Hmm.
small one based on 15 minute. The second one is on the target 2, and that's based on range. Remember, you can have many different targets based on different principles, yeah? And different objectives. So you can see that the first target trade, you'll have seen on your Telegram signal as well. If I just scroll down, that was the one there. Now that hit the target here, right? Just to give you an example, that's on just one lot, of course, based on your trade account size, you can always position size it accordingly. And the second one, where it's towards a bigger range, what we will do is we'll manage it on a higher time frame. We will wait and see if that top confirms and goes towards making its range. Now, what do I mean by the range? Is from the top to the bottom of that will make 76 pips. And that over here, traders, if you take a look, that's the open price here, right? The blue line here. And then you can see that that's the highest point it went to. Then now that's the low. So now I'm waiting for this now to come back and take out this low, extend it further, and make my range of 76, which is in correlation to this bar here that is forming on the daily time frame. This is the whole premise for this, and that's how we have put our target on a systematic, logical manner. Okay, but remember, every strategy me and Gavin have explained this many times. Every strategy will have its own different objectives. Okay, so you can tailor your rules accordingly to that. All right. I guess I think that's pretty much that. I think we covered quite a bit, isn't it, Gavin, today? So I think
Yeah, no, it's been, but and if you can just put, yeah, so you've got this situation in gold at the moment, which is brilliant. Charles has explained everything, so I'm very happy there. In relation to your GBP USD trade, I think you've explained it. I don't think there's nothing more we need to say. What we don't want to do is go on for 3 hours because
exactly.
yeah, no, yeah. So what we'll do is I'll let you and Kyron wrap it up, which is fine. I'll talk to you in a minute. I've got some stuff that I'm going to show you, really good stuff.
Because you know
It-
why? Because even on the cable, it was textbook example, wasn't it? On the 15 minute of both price and volume. I mean, how
oh, well,
much
the
of a better?
upside. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Look
that.
at that. The uptrust with a large volume,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the next bar closing lower after accumulation. Then that's it. It drops further down.
Yeah. Go back to gold quickly on the 1 minute. Go to the small time frame,
Yeah.
and then I'll try and show my trading screen so people can see it. But go back to gold. If you can put that up, Charles, can you put gold up? GC. Oh, there it is. There you go. You've got it. And what we can see, XAU, USD, now I'm trading the futures contract and it's already reversing. And now, just for those of you that are watching this live on YouTube, what we're looking for is an up move, believe it or not. I know that sounds odd, an up move, but on no demand. And that is the ideal setup. So it goes up on low volume because of the base at the bottom, which it's trying to hold. So it should go up, right? And you'll all be saying, oh, it's going up, but watch for no demand. Really, really powerful. And yes, I've seen your email, Paul, about an up thrust. What about if they up thrust and they push it up and then mark it down? That happens. It absolutely does. And it might even be there right now. So just beware. This could be a great trade. If it starts to collapse, this will be a VSA setup, which I would certainly use, and we're not far off. With that being said, I want to thank Charles Atmore out in Cincinnati, who is part of our team. I want to thank, obviously, we've done this from Master the Markets, so a lot of you are going to have inquiries. You've got all the places to go to. I'm going to be up next week with Tiru in London. We're going to be doing some live stuff. But from me, I just want to say thank you very much, and I'll hand back to Tiru to wrap it up.
Yeah, just a few quick things. We just want to say thanks to also the sponsors, working collaboration with Trade Nation. Those are the guys who have helped us with giving us a signal that nicely syncs in with the Telegram channel that you guys are part of. If you haven't joined it yet, the link will be there. You can join it. Wednesday and Thursdays, we go live on it. And you can use the principles across any strategy, any instrument. So far, you all see through the Telegram channels and the signals we've given, we're getting about 80-90% right on the 180R target strategies. And so that's on Trade Nation over there. If you guys want to open an account, I think there would be a link over there on the Telegram channel, which you can look at. And on the other note, if you guys want to understand both these methodologies of 7 steps, the CTP.com is the best place on price and volume. That will be the best place that you guys can understand it. And then also our YouTube channel, youtube.com/master the market. And also Trade channel on youtube.com/trade guide. I guess traders, that's pretty much it. Really nice, awesome day. We'll keep an eye on the gold and cable. We will update you guys accordingly. Over here, so far, so good on GBP USD. It's going towards where we are looking at. But you will see it on the Telegram channel, update you, and we'll send you an email as well on how this trade goes along. The final things I will just tell you is, it's not about the trade winning or losing, but you must understand why it's doing that. Really understand inside out why your strategy must continue to work, as said by the biggest billionaire hedge fund manager, Ray Dalio, right, of Bridgewater Associates. You must always keep questioning yourself, why must your strategy continue to work? Understand the edge of it truly, and that's what will give you the conviction of running your numbers to finally monetize the true edge of your strategy. Traders, that's all from us for now. It's a wrap from here. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.